Hey guys, it's Danny. Today we are going to take care of some orchids which have some issues. So pretty much we're gonna do another maintenance episode. I think it is number 6. I'll link it down below to the previous episodes if you missed them. So I will take you along and show you what I'm gonna do about these two orchids, which, and PS, you'll have to excuse my birds, they will sing a lot this video. It's that time. So the theme today is rotten pseudobulbs. And we have a little kitty here, a Cattleya, which has quite the bad looking cane here, but also an Oncidium with another very bad looking pseudobulb. Ooh, I don't know how we're gonna film today, you guys, but we're gonna give it a good shot. I'm actually going to start with the Oncidium because I need to repot him. The Cattleya, I don't think so. But the Oncidium definitely needs a repot. It's looking okay, but I need to get to the rhizome properly, so I will repot him. Now, actually, this orchid had a new growth, and you can see I have a stake here, but the new growth rotted. And I thought I removed it properly and completely, but apparently I didn't. I did not repot the orchid. All I did was just twist the new growth off, and it came right off. But look at this, the infection clearly passed on to the mother pseudobulb through the rhizome. So right now, I want to see exactly how much this infection affected the plant. Now, the thing is, this is an odontoglossum type of orchid, which naturally has quite a lot of pigmentation on the older pseudobulbs. So it was a little bit misleading. I didn't actually spot the infection in time because this color on pseudobulbs is actually pretty normal for odontoglossum type of hybrids and species. But the thing is, rot has the exact same color, so from a distance at least, you really cannot tell if a pseudobulb is rotting or not unless you press on it. So this one looks scary, but if I press on it, it's not mushy, which is good. However, this guy, if I press on it, it's super mushy. So the infection went on without me even noticing because the color was very similar to the natural color of the pseudobulbs. So hopefully I'm not too late. I do see new roots. I see that this is healthy. I'm hoping this guy is healthy as well. If not, we're only gonna be left with a back bulb, as it were, even though it's not an old bulb, which is still good. It's just not ideal. So let's remove the orchid from the pot. And I'm gonna try not to disturb the root system way too much. I will remove anything that I see is dead, such as this root. But other than that, I won't disturb it way too much because I repotted this orchid max a year ago. Let's actually see what we're dealing with here. Okay, it appears the rhizome is pretty connected, which is good. If the rhizome would be super affected, this pseudobulb will come off right away. It will pose no resistance whatsoever. But the rhizome is pretty tough, which means the infection might have just stopped there. Hold on, I need a sterilized pair of pruners. So what I want to do is go really down here at the base of the pseudobulbs, actually next to the base of this pseudobulb, and give a good cut. All right. And here we go. This pseudobulb looks okay. Actually, the rhizome looks okay. So the infection might have stopped right here because the rhizome does not look all that bad. It looks dry, which is what happens or what orchids do. They can on their own stop infections, but sometimes infections can travel through the rhizome as well. It really depends on the pathogen and how strong it is and how weak the orchid is. They do have their natural defenses, obviously, but not all orchids are super strong, especially in cultivation where none of them actually pass natural selection. You really don't know what the case will be. Some orchids will be absolutely fine without you intervening, and others will not. So because you don't know what the case is, I think it's best not to take any chances. So I'm gonna take a little look-see and see if I can actually cut even more of this rhizome, which I think I can, but I will sterilize my pruners or fiskers once again. A little PS, I have a bucket of water next to me. It's my osmosis tank. because as you can see, my tool has plastic bits as well. And I'm also working with some alcohol. Things can get out of hand. Please be careful if you ever want to attempt any of this. But as a backup plan, I have my osmosis tank right there. You can see the green stuff. Yep, that's a bucket full of water if anything happens. Also, I usually do this on top of the sink. Most of the times I do that, but now I needed to film and show you guys. So anyway, let me just go ahead and see if there's any more of this rhizome that I can cut. The more, the better, because this is dead tissue. It will just decompose in the medium. It's not gonna help us. I'm also going to try to detach the roots attached. There we go. These are all dead. I'm gonna throw them away. And now I will cut away dead roots if I see any. This one is dead. And actually we had more dead roots than I was expecting. As you can see, all the medium fell off. So yeah, only the new growth actually has the viable roots. Which, there you go. Never judge an orchid by its unpotted state, I guess. And well, since the situation is not as peachy as I thought it would be, what I will also do is spray a little hydrogen peroxide 3%. It never hurt anybody. It will just kill off the spores, the fungal spores. And in this way, I sanitized a little bit the root system and my cut wound. All right, so I will throw away all of this old medium and dead roots. I will wash with detergent this pot. I will reuse it. And I'll come back to repot the orchid in fresh new medium. But yeah, there we go. The plan we make beforehand isn't necessarily the plan we end up doing. And it happens a lot with orchids. It's okay. Best thing to do is to wing it as we go. And you guys know me, that's pretty much what I do constantly. Alright, so I will be using my typical orchid mix, which consists of sphagnum moss and bark chips. I always start with a sphagnum moss layer at the bottom, because I do water my orchids in a very particular way. Links down below in the description. I explain the setup and the way I water. This actually helps me water super fast. And when you have 450 orchids around, watering fast makes a huge difference. The moss layer at the bottom, and then I will alternate with bark and moss throughout the pot. Now, as I'm doing this, I just wanted to mention something. Orchids, like any other plant, they're live things, and we all are trying our best to care for them and to save them and help them when they have issues. But since they are alive and pretty unpredictable, to be fully honest, nothing we do here is 100% guaranteed to work. Yes, I think that I eliminated all the infection that I saw, but there is a chance that I didn't, and the infection will start to affect this pseudobulb at some point as well. Fingers crossed it will not, and I did my best, but sometimes the unpredictable happens. And actually, the latest unpredictable happened for me was with my Monstera variegata, which is on my second channel. I renamed it. It's MissOrchidGirl Houseplants. Finally, we settled on a name. So I'll link you to it down below. What happened was that plant suffered from crown rot, stem rot, and root rot at the same time. And I did my very best to save it, and in the end, I failed. It didn't work. Nothing I did worked. So these things will happen with orchids as well. Luckily, though, orchids are not that expensive. Monsteras, the variegated ones, they are pretty expensive at the moment when I'm recording this. You can imagine I wasn't the happiest, but yeah, things happen. And the best thing to do is not to be super sad about it. It is sad, I know, but try to learn from it, because every negative experience teaches you a lot more than positive experiences. It's just how we humans work. We tend to remember and just learn more from negative experiences. So look at it that way. Don't get discouraged. We all go through hard times with orchids, even me, after 8-9 years. How long has it been at this point? It's been a lot of years. I still lose orchids, but I always do my best, and I always at least try to learn and show you guys so that you can learn from my failures as well. That actually makes it better, to be fully honest. Even with the Monstera, which was over 100 euros. Oh boy. Oh well, it happens. Right, okay, so this Oncidium is right about done. I will give it a good watering. I will run water through the pot, let it drain, put it back in its decorative container. And Mr. Oncidium here, which Who are you actually? I think it's one of the Stirbics. Yeah, it's the Stirbic Brown. Beautiful orchid. Mr. Stirbic is all done. Now you behave now, okay? All right, you're a good boy. Now with Mrs. Cattleya over here, the situation is a little bit different. I only have one pseudobulb, which I don't think is in such bad shape as the Oncidium. Certainly it needs removal just to be sure, but I don't think this Cattleya is in such bad shape. It just happened that I missed it because my Cattleyas are currently on the terrace. They're enjoying the heat, the sun, the life outside, and she was on the lower shelf and I just didn't notice it. Again, it happens. So with this one, I really don't think I need to unpot it. I will go ahead and remove the pseudobulb with the orchid still in the same pot. So first and foremost, I will try to remove the pseudobulb with my fiskars, but there is a chance I will need a blade or something because this orchid is pretty massive. So let's first try it with the fiskars and make sure that I don't cut roots. Oh, you know what? First and foremost, let me cut above the eyes. I'll explain in a second why and what the eyes are. Let's see where the infection is. Yep, fiskars won't do it. But I bet you my rusty garden shears will. Let's see. Alrighty. Okay, so things are not looking alive. This being a pseudobulb, it should have been green and it's not, it's white. But it doesn't look very darkened. Now, here's the thing with Cattleyas and actually most sympodials, but Cattleyas in particular. Since Cattleyas always grow new growths from the base of canes, there you will have a lot of dormant eyes, which can transform into new growths. Typically, if I have an issue with the pseudobulb, I cut above the nodes. So this is a new one forming. I would cut here and leave this section alone. But in this case, I do suspect the bottom section is affected as well. It's not alive anymore. So again, just to be sure, I will cut the bottom section as well. But I do talk in a different video about orchid eyes and what they are. Check it down below in the description if you missed it and you'd like to see it. So in this case, yeah, I don't think the eyes are viable anymore. So I will go ahead and remove this base as well, just to be sure. Wow, alrighty, doesn't look good at all. So yeah, I would actually cut even further. So you see that at some point this rhizome connects to this. Yeah, I'm gonna cut right here where it connects. I'm not gonna cut this rhizome because this belongs to this pseudobulb, but I will cut away, pretty much clean out all of this pseudobulb and its rhizome. It's a little difficult since I have the camera right next to me, but I hope you guys can see what I'm doing. Almost there. Alrighty. Now if I can only find where it flew. I feel like the wound is super clean. It's actually super dry right here. And I would be a little happier if I knew where that portion went, but I don't think it's here. Anyway, job done with the Cattleya. In this case, I will not apply hydrogen peroxide, cinnamon, or anything of the sorts because I see this cut right here is extremely dry. And if it's dry, then it cannot get infected. So no point in doing that extra step. Alright, so my two little orchids are all done and hopefully, fingers crossed, they will be happy and healthy. The Cattleya actually has a sheath and I'm hoping she's gonna bloom because she's really beautiful. She has huge, huge flowers. So before I let you go, just another thing that I wanted to mention. If you are new to orchids, but you're not necessarily new to houseplants and you're used to actually paying a lot for houseplants, just a little note here, generally speaking, the overwhelming majority of orchids are super affordable. I recently made a video talking about where we can buy orchids. I'll link you to it down below. Orchid nurseries actually don't send to other territories because they're just so affordable. It's not worth getting a phytosanitary certificate, hence why most nurseries don't ship overseas. But rest assured, there are a lot of orchid nurseries in the world. So check my video, I do have a list there as well with orchid nurseries. I mentioned this because yeah, sadly there are some players who really want to mix the two worlds and who inflate the price of orchids more than they should be, in my opinion. More than the competition, that's for sure. And I just wanted to let you know that these are not rare plants. They have nothing to do with rare plants. They don't cost as much. You might be used to paying a lot more for other plants, but really most orchids are super affordable. So hey, why not save that money for a brand new monstera, right? Which is what I did. I got a new one. So yeah, save that money for expensive plants. And if you want orchids, go to orchid nurseries. They have very good prices. So that's it. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you've enjoyed it. Subscribe to my channel for more orchid videos, tutorials, experiments, updates, and other fun orchid subjects. If you wish to support the channel, do consider becoming a member or visit the merch store linked down below in the description. You can also follow me on Instagram and Facebook. It's always nice to stay in touch there as well. And with that said, I'll see you guys next time. Bye!